Here's how to increase click-through rates on your emails. Now, I don't know if you've ever done any direct mail. Years ago, I used to use lots of direct mail. I was sending out 20,000 pieces of mail every month. I mean, expensive to send, but boy, did it work. And there were some fantastic lessons that I learned by using direct mail. And I've been thinking about this recently because I've been using some of the ideas I learnt in direct mail with my email marketing as well. So I've created a report for myself and ideas I want to share with members of my various groups. And so I've got this report on the desk here now and I want to share it with you, and I'll tell you why I'm holding a £20 note at the moment. Using the concept of grabbers is well known in direct mail. Let me give you some idea. So for example, it's not unusual for people to have pinned a banknote to the top of a piece of direct mail. Often what was used was an Iraqi dinar because the value of it was very low, or it would be some other unusual currency. And if that piece of direct mail was talking about a financial product of some description, some way that the recipient of the message would be able to make more money, then having that note at the top grabbed their attention when they opened the direct mail. So they opened a piece of direct mail, got a couple of bits of paper here, and they opened it, and then there was this note pinned to the top, obviously not a £20 note. And that would spark their interest and they would read it. I've known people use a bag of dirt if they were talking about property or building in order to capture somebody's attention. Certainly I've used in the past a tea bag and a coffee sachet to attach that, and then the typical slightly trite copy would say, oh, take a moment, make yourself a cup of tea or a coffee and read what I've got to say. So this is a great idea to do these types of things. The reason it works is, and I'm going to show how you use it in email marketing as well and tell you why it boosts results and the results that I've had from it as well. The reason is that it cuts through that attention problem that we have. So immediately somebody sees this, it's unusual, and it grabs their attention. It stimulates curiosity and interest and a sense of intrigue, and people think, oh, what's this and why is it here and what's the relevance of this? And whilst they're curious, that's when they're engaged straight away. It creates a memorable experience as well because that visual impact in the right place works incredibly well. Obviously, it needs to link to the text as well. It builds emotional engagement, especially if it's something powerful that links into something that the other person wants. So what we've got to do then is we've got to be taking this idea away and we've got to be able to use it. Let me tell you how I used it. Having thought about using notes, which I'd used before on the top of emails, I thought, I wonder whether or not this would work with email marketing. And this was my thought process. Very often when somebody's looking at creating an email, they're creating to start with the subject line. And I think there's a confusion there that people think the subject line is the same as the headline on a piece of direct mail, but it's not. The subject line is the same as what's called the teaser copy on the outside of the envelope. So we've got an envelope, I'll use this as the example. So we've got an envelope and there's the name and the address and all the rest of it. And then there's teaser copy on this. You've seen the type of thing. See inside for the ... Or I wonder how people ... Something that gets people's curiosity, engagement, and they open the envelope. So that's what the subject line and email is. It's teaser copy, because think of the symbol for email. It's an envelope. And so the subject line, teaser copy on the outside. So its purpose is to get the recipient to open the envelope, open the email. Then what's the next thing? Well, normally on a piece of direct mail, what it would be a pre-head, which would identify the recipient and label them in some way. Then there would be a headline, the usual guideline, no more than 17 words. I mean, it's a guideline, not a rule. And then underneath that would be the subhead. And the purpose of each part of that process would be to get someone to read the next part. Pre-head says, oh, this is for me. That makes people read the headline. They read the headline. They drive to the next bit, which is the subhead, which is probably in the form of a question, often is. And that drives people into the copy, which is wonderful. So it's a wonderful process. Now, how do you use a grabber? Because you can't pin the £20 note or the bag of dirt or the Iraqi dinar to the top, can you? So this is how it works. You move everything down the email. Think of the email as a letter, right? You push everything down there. The pre-head, the headline, the subhead, the copy is all down there. And what you put at the top is the grabber. So what I decided to do was, and I got my son who is into graphics much better than I am, right? I got him to make not a two £20 notes, but a £20,000 note. And this picture went at the top of the email as the grabber. So immediately somebody would open the email, obviously slightly smaller than this, and they go, £20,000? What's this about? So it grabbed. So you have the grabber first, then you might have the pre-head labeling the recipient. So they go, it's for me, rather than is it for me? Then they have the headline, then there's the subhead, and then there's the body copy, and we could talk about that stuff all day long. So some of the notes that I've made for us today, making sure we've got the right grabber. Oh, by the way, the first time I tested this, it increased the click-through rate by 53%. 53%. Now, 53% increase in click-through rate is what? That is just absolutely amazing. So we've got to make sure that we select the right visuals using high quality relevant images that are optimized for all devices. Nextly, we want to create a first strong impression. So it's got to be right at the top, as I mentioned. Wants to be consistent with your brand, obviously. Wants to be authentic and relevant. And of course, we want to be testing because we can use grabber against no grabber, this grabber against a different grabber. So there's all of those typical A/B tests that we can do. And of course, legal considerations. That's why I didn't use a picture of a banknote and just created something that looked like a banknote. Some do's and don'ts. We need to keep it relevant. It wants to be creative but clear. We want to test it on different platforms to make sure that it does work. And we don't want to overcrowd the email. So that grabber must do its job, which is to grab somebody's attention, which is why it's called the grabber. And of course, it wants to be completely relevant to the particular offer that we're going to be making. I love the idea of visual grabbers. I say I've used normal grabbers in direct mail for 30 odd years. But having had that idea to test a grabber and convert it into a visual grabber and get that sort of incredible lift in click-through rates is just wonderful. I'm sure that you can take this idea away and that you can use it in your marketing. And if you've enjoyed this video, there's plenty more of my videos around here somewhere. In the meantime, I wish you every success in all your adventures in life as you keep on testing, as I do, different ways of marketing to see if I can help more people to get the outcomes that they want and that they came to me for in the first place. So from me, Peter Thomson, until the next time, goodbye for now.